All right, we live now. I'm finna.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. Yep. They're in. They're here.
All right. Let me take this off the screen real quick. All right, peace and Black African Power. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV with Kofi Piesie research team. Today we got I ain't gonna even call him a guest, and we'll get to that in a minute. But please like and share the show. Sutekh, can you share the show for me, man? Share the show for me, man. But ETM Hotel, Dual Aku, Dual Netcher, Fatmu Alafiye, Fatmu Riri, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba E Lakba, Majuba Iba E Lakba, E Gungun, Kiki E Gungun. I always have to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also like to stand honor and praises to the true and living elders according to African traditions and from an African world view and perspective. Again, welcome back to Kofi Piesie Research Team. We got Brother Sutekh, Brother Sutekh, Brother T'Challa on the panel, as well as our brother who will be interviewing Asar Mkai, Brother Sutekh, Sutekh, T'Challa. Y'all got anything, man, before we jump into the interview?
Yeah, I want to say Shea Lafiani, peace to the brothers on the panel, peace to Brother Asar. Appreciate you for coming through. It's gonna be interesting. Peace to those in the chat and those that will view this in the archives. Make sure y'all like and share the show. Make sure y'all check out dopetees.online. We got plenty of merch there. Make sure y'all check out our learning market on our website. We got volume 3. Spearitual Combat just dropped yesterday or the day before. So, man, make sure y'all check out what we got going. We appreciate y'all for coming through one more time. And please like and share the show as you come in.
I guess I'll go ahead. Thought Sutekh was gone. Peace to everybody that's tuning in. You know, we back at it again with another warrior scholar. We're gonna interview him and pick his brain a little bit. Personally got a few interesting questions for the brother. Well, one really when we get to him, and looking forward to this interview. It should be real good. Like the show, share the show. We appreciate the love y'all showing us, and let's rock out.
Peace, everybody. It's your brother Sutekh. Yeah, like they said, we got one of our warrior scholars, man, and me and this brother, we go back at least it's funny, man. I can say it. Me and this brother go back about 5-6 years now, man. We used to do some epic battles in 2014, 15, man, and yeah, it's gonna be a good show, man. We're gonna just reminisce. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna have a good time today. So, yeah, y'all like and share the show, please.
All right. Before we jump into the show, let me share my screen quick. I want to do this before we get into the dig into the interview. Let me share my screen real quick. Do this. Y'all let me know when my screen is sharing. I ain't even looking on the Facebook end. Anybody, and peace to those that may be viewing it in Kofi Piesie Research like page. We're streaming from both platforms, so please like and share the show on YouTube land, and if you in Facebook land, please share the show with somebody, please. All right. Peace to those in the chat. Peace. I see my wife in the chat and some of the others. Peace, Lakeisha and Fundu, my boo. Let me know what my screen is sharing, y'all.
You sharing now, fam?
All right, let me go here. All right, let me go here. All right. Can y'all see my little slideshow up, the PowerPoint up?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. All right. Again, like I say, welcome back to Warrior Scholars, a new show that we created a few weeks ago. And again, when our guest is Brother Asar Ka. We must not let our ancestors down. That is a slogan that we use over here. We must not let our ancestors down. And another slogan that we live by over here, that we breathe over here, and that is, as I learn, we all learn. And we demonstrate that on the daily. And today's show is dedicated to Kofi Ogusa. Brother Ogusa, I want to read his bio real quick. This brother here, he kind of changed my perspective on some things a few years ago. And if you read the Killmonger's Corner, the Conscious Community Pan-African Journal, Volume 1, that was produced by Brother Benjamin Njie, I had a chapter in there. And that chapter, not only that chapter, I did a 2-part series on African, what y'all call African spirituality. Like I said, I have an issue with that word. Dog, I thought I had it pulled up, but I don't have it pulled up because I wanted to read this brother's credentials. But shoot, I done flipped off the page, and I'm just gonna move along. But today's show is dedicated to Kofi Ogusa. He has a book called African Rituals and African Traditions. That's one of the books that changed my perspective on African spirituality, African traditions. What actually gave me an understanding of how it actually came into fruition. He also has another book out that I didn't even know, that I just ordered. It's called Marry Me in Africa. Marry Me in Africa. It's also by him. I can't wait to get that. But the show is dedicated to him. Also available now is Brother, what's the name? Say, if you don't have it, please go to KofiPiesiTV.com and get the new text that came out on Friday, 11/27. We call Dafting Day. Spiritual Combat, a historical survey in the minds of African warrior scholars, Volume 3. It is available now, so go get your copy on KofiPiesiTV.com. If you go to Amazon.com, the book is $28.99 plus tax. If you go to our website right now, it is on sale until after Kwanzaa. It is $24.99. So get that lit $5 discount plus tax. Also, like his brother Sutekh said, go to our Mboka Family Connected Apparel. That is the name of the online store, Mboka Family Connected Apparel. It is www.dopetees.com, or you can just type in Google Mboka Family Connected Apparel, and it'll pop right on up for you. You just click the link, and it'll take you right onto the online store to get some of that dope clothing. All right, warrior scholars, before we get started, I just want to define what a warrior is and what a scholar is before we get started, so people can know what a warrior is and what a scholar is and what we define a warrior scholar is as well, because, again, the name of this show is called Warrior Scholars. Warrior scholars, warrior. 1300 Old North French warrior, Old French warrior, soldier, combative, one who wages war, warrior, wage war, from warrior, warrior, a person who engaged in experiences in warfare broadly, a person who engaged in some struggle, conflict. Scholar, a person who attends a school or studies under a teacher, pupil, a person who has done advanced studies in special fields, a learned person, a holder of scholarship. That is the Merriam-Webster Dictionary definition, scholar. A person who studies a subject in great detail, especially at a university. That is the Cambridge Dictionary. Real quick, my perspective of what a warrior scholar is. My meaning of warrior scholar is someone who studies and wages war against mistruths, pseudoisms, and willing to stand on the battlefield against institutions and a platform that promotes that. A warrior scholar is someone who is on a mission for the truth, for accurate and sound information. A warrior scholar is one who have discipline, good character, morals, and willing to fight back against those who use information dangerously. T'Challa's perspective on a warrior scholar is one who has embarked on a journey. A warrior is one who has embarked on a journey of self-mastery through rigorous physical training and is an effort to battle one state of being. A warrior is one who has embarked on a journey of self-mastery through countless hours of meditation in an effort to learn art and stillness, becoming harmonious with their environments and all existence. A warrior is molded, guided, torn down, and built up so that their people may live and continue to proliferate. Those who seek this path knows the inviolable gifts of humility and knows their place amongst the hierarchy of their people. That's powerful too. But what does a warrior have to do with a scholar? A scholar is one who embodies all of the concepts mentioned above with the focus of geared towards scientific literacy and literacies as a whole. One must one must first be able to read and then develop superb reading and comprehension skills in order to properly relate its message received through one's scholastic endeavors. Proper demonstrations of methodology in any style of discipline or field or study is the only way to reach the proper conclusion. So a warrior scholar is one who fights on behalf of the universal truth, one who seeks truly to set a standard or to combat an omnipresent information, one who stands in their lane, humility, and does not portray themselves as a master swordsman. That's powerful too. Does not portray himself as a master swordsman if they specialize in a spear. Vasa's perspective, warrior scholars is those who have the ability to speak the truth in the hardest times, war. Those who speak voiceless and weary, lost, broken, but not defeated. They give hope, courage, wisdom, and direction to all people. They defend all that is true, and although there is never exposed to what is although never exposed to what is scary to us all, they demonstrate what is most sacred to us all. Our place in existence and our constantly fight perfection. Just think the stories of testimonies that the sword is not mightier than the pen. If the pen is held by righteous men, while as righteous men teaching, a sword and a spirit can waste blood as swiftly as a fool. Words waste ink. So there you have it. Some of us that what a warrior scholar is. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. We're gonna jump into this interview. Let me go back here. Dang, can I do that? Give me a second, y'all. All right, I'm back over here. All right. Now, let's get into the interview, brother. Let me pull up my questions, man. We got a bunch of questions, man, for our good brother, man. And again, first I want to say welcome back home. I told you I was going to tell you, man, welcome back home. Y'all, this is not a guest. Asar is not a guest on Kofi Piesie TV. He's been with Kofi Piesie since the Kofi Piesie TV since the conception. So welcome back home. And for those that may not know, Kofi Piesie family and affiliates that morphed into Kofi Piesie research team, you could say he was one of the originals because he was a part of Kofi Piesie research family and affiliate. If you go back in the archives, you will see him on tons and tons of videos, presentations, bills, and even the first show that I ever had, he was a part of it. So this is his home, you know. And so welcome back home, my brother, man. And go ahead, man, and introduce yourself, man, for people that may not know who Asar Mkai is, man. Briefly introduce yourself, man, and then we'll jump right on into the interview.
Ra, praise Ra. My name is Asar Mkai. I've been doing this work in the virtual community for about 12 years. I've been doing this work in my community since the 90s, right? So we freedom fought. We've also, created businesses where our communities were able to be paid. If you've ever employed some of your community members or employed other communities, I've done some of that work as well. And my main concern when I stepped into the virtual world was to express my spirituality, or since our brother has a problem with that word, and I understand that, to express being a Shemsu Asar, being a Shemsu Haru, to follow Haru and follow the path of Asar that's laid by our Aku, by our ancestors, and the path that they left for us that leads to other things such as Ifa, to just different African traditions in general, or to Akande, et cetera, right? So that is my path. That's how I've walked. I set the it was me and my cousin Jam X on the Wheels of Steel who did the first gang peace rally here in Denver, Colorado. And so we put that together along with I guess you could say Reverend Kelly helped a little bit, but really it was me and my cousin going door to door to each side of the gang's house in dangerous times at that time, and bringing them together in a particular neighborhood where they could finally have some unity, and we could stop some of the shootings that happened in early 80s and 90s. So that's pretty much our work. And then we stood against the Klan here. I believe you've seen us on television. You definitely seen some of my partners, and probably me as well, when the Ku Klux Klan decided that they wanted to impede on the Martin Luther King rally. And so you see us in action as warriors. And then scholarly, if you've ever heard me debate, which I have one next week, you can catch me on the Solar Division debate channel. And you can see me on some other episodes where if you disrespect or if you step to any type of African quote unquote spirituality system that I'm familiar with, I will defend it just like I defend it now.
All right. Asar Mkai, because let's get into your name real quick, and it's gonna kind of go into the question I want to ask. For people that may not know what Asar Mkai mean, what does your name mean, Asar?
Asar is like you could say Asar is like the seeing eyes, if you will. You can also call it the soul or the spirit, if you will, of things that live, when you get in depth about the term Asar and what it embodies, because it represents the living land of Kemet. It represents a lot of different things that Asar comes into contact. When you use the M, that means in, and the Ka is spirit, where Ba would be soul if we translate it into English terminology, which you have to if we're speaking English. If you study what the Ka and the Ba is in ancient spirituality systems, or in ancient Kemet, when you deal with the Shemsu Asar or the Shemsu Haru system, then you'll know that basically I am Asar in spirit. Why do I come up with that name? One, if you know the mythology, the mythos, the dismemberment of Asar happened in around the November time frame. I'm born on November 6th. The 6th day is when the Sem priests leave to go do what they do on the 6th day, and I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but that is what put the name together, along with some other things that I had to do when I did the a ritual that you'll find on a particular papyrus when you give yourself a name, as opposed to getting it from the community. And then Ptah Seker Asar, one of my elder brothers calls me Asar Ka, which you'll find. And Saber Reggie also calls me Asar Mka. So, you know, that's how the name came about.
Okay, all right. All right, man. So, you know, a lot of people know you in the community for studying Kemet. But let's before we get into, you know, talking about Kemet, because we want to talk about Kemet, we want to get into your trip and all that. Let's talk about your days when you was a Muslim. How long you was a Muslim, and what sparked your interest in the Kemet? Because we, like I said, I've been knowing you for a while. I got introduced to you through Sutekh. So I've been knowing you for 5 years because he introduced you to me and some of the students before we even became a Seshew Ma'ah. You was there before we even came a Seshew Ma'ah Seshew Netcher. You was even there before we was the Warriors of Ma'ah. Right. You would right. So we go way back. Right. So you've been there, so I've been knowing you a long time, and we done build a lot. And, you know, you've been on this platform since the conception, but I never, you know, and that's crazy. You know, I thought about it, but I never asked you about that. You know, this is a question for me. This may not be a question for anybody on the panel. It may not be a question for anybody in the chat right now. But yeah, how long was you a Muslim, and you know what sparked your interest in Kemet?
Absolutely. Becoming a Shamsu Asar was a journey. You always seek the truth. I come from a line of ministers, so I was born. They baptized me young. I was a Baptist. Eventually, I read the whole Bible a couple times. I had a lot of questions concerning. My father at the time was in between things, and he was also around a lot of Muslims. So his partners would be like, "Oh yeah, brother Allah will do this." So I was like, okay, I'm listening. I'm still young aged. And some 5%ers out here. Shout out to my partner, Knowledge Born. Y'all probably know him in New York. Him and my partner, Boston, started a 5% nation situation out here. So me and my partner, Jam, gravitated to the 5% nation because that's who was talking to us at the time. And then my partner, brother Jeff, they had the Nation of Islam in what we call the Dahlia Center here in Park Hill. So we would go there often and talk to them. And I also lived amongst Muslims when I was younger. So I'm about 14 and stuff around this time. I had a young guy named Hakam, his brother Talat and Ennis. They run the Islamic centers out here now. Shout out to my boy Ennis. Hakam comes up to me kind of angry one day. And so I beat him up. And then I decided to rob him. I said, "Give me your money." So I hit him, and he said, "I'm fasting." And so I stopped. I said, "What are you talking about?" So I hit him again. "No, I'm fasting." I said, "Man, give me your money." He said, "I'm fasting." And I said, "What's that?" And so when I asked him what fasting was, he starts telling me about Ramadan. So I give him his money, and I said, "I'm going to fast with you for 3 days." And so that was the first time I was introduced to Islam. In doing so, even before that time, my uncle Larry, this is my partner TJ's father, rest his soul. He's from West Africa. He used to make us watch Shaka Zulu, and I loved it. That's my favorite movie. That and then Conan, right, the Barbarian. And so watching Shaka Zulu, I would ask him questions, and then he would say, "When you get older, you go study ancient Egypt." And I said, "I will, for you. I'll do that." And so going through that journey, I became very knowledgeable in Islam. To the point where if you seen some of the arrests out here when they was trying to get Al Qaeda and et cetera, some of them are my partners. Like some of the Taliban, some of those were friends of mine, you know. Some of them had different ideologies concerning America, but they were friends of mine. You know, not every Taliban person is evil per se. They just have a different perspective. So we're talking maybe it's a long time in Islam where I know I was a Salafi Muslim. Jamaldeen Zaraboza, who did the editing for Al Fiqh As-Sunnah, those books, that's a friend of mine, right? Sheikh Jamaldeen's Sheikh Amjad, who came from Mecca, used to sit with Sheikh Ahmadiyya. That's who taught me Arabic, and that's a friend of mine. Abu Turki, who he got a charge for, because the beef with Muslims and Hindus is real. He brought one of the slaves from the war they had in Pakistan here to Denver, and he had her in the basement. So he ended up going to prison, and I think because it's legal there and it's not legal here. And they had a real war and they still got issues. But he was a friend of mine as well. I didn't know that was going on, but that's an Islamic Hindu situation. So I've been Muslim for years, where I was overly endowed in the situation. And as you study the truth, like I had a debate not too long ago, does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exist? And when you go into the truth and you start to get into the nooks and crannies of the truth, you can see when certain things are made up and when they have holes in them. And when they have holes in them, you have to pick it apart and you have to keep on your search for the truth. You can't stop because you're comfortable. I was comfortable a long time ago with death and the entertainment of the soul traveling after death, because energy isn't destroyed. So I was comfortable with that. So then I just wanted the truth. Where did this stuff come from? And that's how I endowed myself into ancient Kemet.
So, language is very important with whatever you following in, and we're gonna talk about that, because I want to talk about that when we talk about Kemet, because you like I said, you wasn't per se a student of. When I met you, I was still a student. Right. I was, me and Sutekh and Ra was still a student. When I met you, like I said, there was no Warriors of Ma'at, and there was no Seshew Ma'ani Netcher at this time. You was building with us outside of class, and then you was building with us before there was a Freestyle Friday, and before there was a Divine Words Wednesdays. When we started doing that, when we created the channel, you was building with us, and we was translating glyphs, and and you was right in there with the students at that time, man, when we was doing these things. So you was right there. So, and you know the writing, and you know the language, but talking about explain how why language is so important when you dealing with whatever tradition you dealing with. And before you do that, let's get, if you don't mind, can you speak a little Arabic for the people? Because you wasn't playing when you was a Muslim, you was endowed in the language, you know what I'm saying? So and I'm saying it because I want to set it up for how important it is to to study the language when you're dealing with a certain tradition that you're a part of.
Absolutely, very. And I'll give you a couple of examples. One from our situation, and then I'll give you one when I was in Egypt. Before we even get there. For the Muslim people watching, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Kayfalik aki? Inna alhamdulillah. Tayyib. Case. Good. And okay. So what I told them is, may the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. Wa Rahman, the mercy to Allah of Allah be upon you, right? So it's very important to understand the language. The other thing is why it's important in some of these spirituality systems is twofold. If you're a Muslim and you speak Arabic, they make sure that you can speak Arabic, because when you speak a language and you dream in a language, it becomes a part of you. And so you become endowed with the culture. And so you start to think in an Arabized fashion. And that's why it's important to learn that language. I think it's very important that you learn Medew Netcher and start to speak it again, as well as, you're parabbing it. I don't care what cats is talking about. Oh, you can't really speak it because you know what they did? They parroted Hebrew until Hebrew became a recognized language again. They did the same thing with Greek, because both of those languages, ancient Greek and Hebrew, were unspoken, the same way Medew Netcher is now. The way it was brought back is people began to speak it, and you're going to have different dialects of it. That's fine. That means we might pronounce, I might say Sakar and you may say Sakar, but once we start to speak it and make it live again, then it becomes international, worldwide, etc., and it becomes accepted again. The other thing is this: when the reason why you have to know the language is very important. When we first start, I'm doing a website called Kemet Empire. I eventually give it to what's our brother? They run the school. His wife, his sister, Phil Valentine. Phil Valentine emails me and he was inquiring about it. When I had Kemet Empire, there's certain things that a culture must have if you talk about real nation building. One was language. So I had Wujawu's class. I had my big brother Infudisi's class, and I had our sister Raketi Yaman's class on there, where you can get a link and just shoot over there. The other thing I had was the cultural stuff. But when you get endowed in a language, you start to understand how a people communicate and how they feel. So you can feel their soul and their expressions a lot more. And you have a feeling, an affinity for those people. The other thing is, when I went to Egypt, I was in Muhammad Ittiyer's house. What up, Muhammad? And they started to talk dangerously about me. But I just kept a straight face and I understood everything they were saying. And so the brother, they thought they were, I do this, I would do that. And they didn't know none of that would work until later in my trip, when I started to do certain things like handstand push-ups, and I did something I won't even speak on. But they understood that if they would have tried to do something to me, it probably would have been a bad day for them in the office. So I can hear them talking in their language disrespectfully. And so the brother says, you should learn the language. I said, why? Because you thought I was in danger? He was like, oh, so you understood what they were saying? I said, I knew exactly what they were saying. And then I did a particular feat that they'll tell you about. I'm not going to tell you about it.
When they speak Arabic, and you saying what they were speaking Arabic, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And they speak a different dialect of Arabic than regular Arabic. They speak Egyptian Arabic, which is different than Pakistani Arabic, which is different than Palestinian Arabic, which is different than Morocco and Saudi Arabian Arabic. So you have to know the dialects of it, which is crazy. So it's important to know, because I technically I was in danger, but technically they were in danger. And they understood that they were in danger as the trip went on and found out about some of the things that I could do. But it's very important. The language is very important. You can't claim let me give you another, for instance. We watch our brother Saber Jabari on Sa Netcher, and we watched our brother Zion Lex tie him up with what? Medew Netcher. But you're a priest. And he had basic Medew Netcher. It wasn't like it was melodic or demotic, hieratic, it was just basic Medew Netcher. And when you can't read that, that's a problem if somebody's trying to tie you up, especially with the nonsense that Zion had brought concerning it. He was saying, art thou? And art thou was not part of Medew Netcher. The same thing happened to me in a debate a couple weeks ago with KOT on the Solomon channel. The brother is a Hebrew, and he brings out a Canaanite picture. And he said, see, brother, this is us. This is us. That's how our brother KOT was trying to bring it. And I said, stop, hold that picture. I said, that says Kananu. Are you going to tell me you a Canaanite? Well, hold on. I said, stand on your square right now. And then I brought up Bible verses. That's part of being a warrior scholar. You got to know your information as well as their information. And I said, so are you a Kananu? Are you a Canaanite? No, brother. All right, so put that picture down. Then I had to teach him the words Yahweh and Medew Netcher so he knew what to look for. Very important to know the language.
Yes, it's very important. And then you spoke of being a priest. You know what I'm saying? A priest was also a scribe. You know, priests could read. The priests could read and write. You know, the glyphs. That's what they did. So you know, that's why no slight to the brother or anything like that. It just when you say you something, you have to be what you say you are, and that kind of don't look right when you say you're a priest or something, and you don't you're not following behind what encompass a priest is. So but yeah, it's very important, man. But talk a little bit more about your trip and Kim. First of all, the trip, for those that may be wanting to go, because you went by yourself, though. You went by yourself. You didn't go with no tour or nothing. You went by yourself. And this was in 2019, wasn't it? When you went
or 18, yep, one of those, yep.
Okay. And
but Saber Reggie had showed me something that I thought was important. And I had the money and I said, you know what, let's go. And I was supposed to meet some of my partners out here that I trained at the masjid in jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. And they didn't go. They didn't show up. One of them is from there. He didn't show up. Another one is our buddy Khabib Nurmagomedov's trainer and manager, Ali. When he came to Colorado, we made sure we took care of him. I'm thinking I go to Egypt, you're going to take care of me. I didn't see him. I ain't seen none of them. But I go out there, get off the plane, and as you stand through the line to come through customs, sometimes people do certain stuff they're not supposed to. In Egypt, it's raw. So the dudes come out with the guns, and I'm like, hold up. And the guy checking my ticket, he's like, no, you're okay. I said, okay, because I balled up my fist. I'm like, if this is going down, it's going to go down for real. And so they running up on this guy, and he's saying something, and they're saying something. They slam him on the ground and get him up out of there. So this is happening as I'm coming. And I'm like, what the heck did I just get myself into? A similar incident happened because I stopped in Greece because I was going to go visit the Temple of Asar in Rome. Pardon me, not Greece, in Rome. I was going to catch the bullet train to the Temple of Asar and come back, but I stopped. So we're in Egypt. I step out. I go through customs. I go to where are the taxis at? They're like, yo, they over here. So I just go outside. I look around, and Netcher always takes care of me. So I look around and I point to this guy, and he says, hey, brother, you're from America. Young dude. He just starts bopping up to me after I pointed to him. You got to go to the hotel? I said, yeah, can you get me to the hotel? He's like, yes, I have a friend. So he introduced me to this guy. This guy doesn't speak a lick of English. I don't pay attention to that at first. And so I take my bags, I put them in. I say, let's go, let's do it. So we go, and he drives. Remember, Egypt just had a war. They're just coming out of war. So he's driving. He doesn't know where the hotel is at. And he's talking in a different Arabic dialect than I usually hear. So it took me maybe 5 minutes for me to click how to speak to him, because I speak about 8 languages, give or take. So, I had to remember, and then I start talking to him. I tell him where the hotel is at, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know where the hotel is at. So he drives to one place, and these dudes is in Gutra. They in niqabbed up with the machine gun. He says, hold on. I said, okay. I said, so he hops out and goes to talk to them, and they get a little gruff with him. And so he comes back in the car. I say, yo, take me to go get a burner right now. Take me to get something that I could defend myself with. And he's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. We just came out of war. I said, okay, that's right. Okay. So we find a hotel. The hotel says the discount that I found on the internet was for Egyptians only. So I say, I'm more Egyptian than you. And so they start laughing. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna give you the hotel room for that. So I get the hotel room at the Pyramid Inn, I think it is. It's right by the pyramids. And the taxi driver says, I'll come back for you in the morning. I say, okay, bet. So I go to sleep, I come down. In the morning, he comes to get me, and he has Muhammad Gabber. So I just meet Muhammad Gabber on the spot. And so Muhammad is like, yo, we live right next to these. I say, okay, bet. So we go to Muhammad's house. Muhammad takes me to before we go to the pyramids, we shoot over to the museum because I tell him I got to go to the museum. We shoot to the museum. He's one of the tour directors up there. And he knows Zahi Hawass. And Ilma, I think it's her name. The lady you always see with Zahi Hawass. So we go in, and he's taking me, he's like, just go in. And so we go. He's reading, he wants me to read one of the Stellas. He's reading it in English. I said, but do you know what it says?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Trick Daya, and I may be saying it wrong. He's saying you speaking, or she's saying, I don't know if it's a he or she, but peace. She's saying that you speaking the truth is raw out there. He's talking about the taxi dude be like that. When they come through, so he's verifying it. He said he went back, she went solo back in 2019.
See, Trick Die, you know exactly what's going on. And they snatched dudes right up at the customs, and they snatched this dude in the air. His feet flew in the air. The crowd moved back. He on the floor flailing, and I'm looking. I'm like, hold up, So you can imagine if you haven't been, and this is you're not with anybody, and this is the first thing you see when you get off the plane. So it's nerve-wracking if you're not used to certain situations. I was good, but that's something to deal with right there. That's a big situation.
And do they call it Egypt, man, over there? They call it the Democratic of what is it called? Arabia, not Arabia, but the Democratic
of Arab Emirates. They're part of the Arab Emirates, but they call it Egypt.
Oh, okay. I thought they were calling it something else now.
They still call it Egypt.
I thought it was called the Arab Republic of Egypt.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, yeah. Arab Republic. Mm-hmm.
Right. But no one goes, like when you talk to them, they don't say that. Like they don't say the Arab Republic. They'll say Egypt. Where I go, you'll see, like I'm by Osama bin Laden's brother's house, right? We up in the cut. You can see Boko Haram bumper stickers. If you go to Heck in the Chair on YouTube, HKN, new word NTR, and you pull up travel to Egypt, my trip, you'll see it's Boko Haram bumper stickers on the cars. So you have to understand when you're in a different country and different cultures, the heroes are not what you may think are heroes. They're their heroes, right? They're fighting for their cause. So you're in that type of environment, and I go into like the city where you can't really go. I go to my partner's house, and he lives in a store. You'll see. I go up in there, and I'm in his house, and he took care of me, so I took care of him. He just had a baby recently. I sent them some money. Well, I sent them like $700 in their money, which is $50 in our money. So it's a different experience being out there in the village and stuff like that, and being amongst the locals. I went to Alexandria, the new library where the old library was built, and also in Alexander's castle. And one thing about ancient people, they're smaller than you are, a lot smaller, right? So 5'7" was a giant at that time. These dudes, they're real small. You can see from the helmets, you can see from a lot of stuff. The other thing was I was in the museum in Cairo, and the Arab will tell you, he at least for me, he was like, you look like the ancient Egyptians. But then because he's Muslim, he says, But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made you guys fall. That's the first thing that comes out of his mouth. He ain't say hello or none of that yet. He made you guys fall. That's why this is here like this now. I said, yeah, but Muhammad fell eventually too, didn't he? And so that so you'll have conversations of that nature dealing with the public. And they'll let you know that who you are. And so he told me, like, you guys were big, but now you fell. So I'm like, all right. At least you
because y'all behinds was up. No, let me shut up.
You reacted like I did. I said, but Muhammad fell later. Oh, but hold on. We had a whole discussion. We was laughing and stuff. But that's the type of conversations that we would get into out there. But being a warrior scholar, since we're on the show, it takes courage to go by yourself. When I don't speak Egyptian Arabic necessarily, right? So there's certain things that you have to have this right here. Your heart has to be your mother, and you have to be able to step out on that limb and be, put your left foot down, as Heru would tell you to do, and stand on that field of battle, just mentally, by taking a trip and not knowing the soul, meeting new people in a situation of danger, and it turned out all right. They became my friends.
Is any of the what about I know it's a lot of Arabs over there. Are there any Africans that reside in Egypt that may have migrated back to Egypt?
Absolutely. People think Egypt is all Arab.
Mm-hmm.
Arab is the language. It's black people out there too. So you'll see, like I seen several African brothers out there. The corner store that I would go to the corner store with the African brothers as opposed to some of the Arabic brothers, because some of it's racist when you go to different countries. It was racist in Rome. It is what it is. Their girls like you, their men hate you. It is what it is. But the African brother around the corner will hook me up, and I will hook him up. Another thing, if you're out there with people from America, they will be really racist, And then I was really, unfortunately, I got really racist back, like bad race. I said some things I shouldn't normally say, but she understood. I said, look, you the one in trouble out here, I just start pointing out that I could spend more money than you in this store, and your president is the one that was tripping with them. And so then she got quiet. Her husband got quiet, and then we, I said a few slurs, and we left it at that. And it's because the nature of people. If your heart is not in ma'at, you're gonna be reckless with your tongue. The dangers of the tongue.
No doubt. The trip, and I'll pass it on to some other brothers, and I'll come back to with some more questions later on. The trip to Kemet, for people that may be wanting to go to Kemet, man, is it expensive, man? What would if a person was looking to go to Kemet to experience some of those things that they read about in the book? What would be some of them costs? The cost on them going to Kemet, and how long is that flight over there as well?
The flight was my flight was like, if it was to go straight, it'd be 24 hours. I went for like 23 hours. I had a 16-hour layover in Rome. So I just sat in the airport, recorded some stuff, and went to sleep. That's when I was going to take the bullet train to see the Temple of Aset, but I didn't know if I would get back in time. So I didn't. But you're going to probably have a layover. So wherever you have the layover, if it's long, get a hotel at the airport. That way you can shoot right back to the airport. And then we took about 2-3 hours, just like flying to Vegas, I would say, from Rome to Egypt. And then, boom, you're good to go. Stay at one of the hotels that's a United States Emirates hotel. Because if you don't know the language, you could find yourself in a situation. I won't lie to you. You could, I remember I'm a former prize fighter, and I was extremely hood when I was younger. I'm not those things now. Well, I still scrap a little bit, but you may not be endowed like that. Don't play yourself. Don't play with it, because you could end up kidnapped. You could, it is what it is. Egypt is nice though. The people are usually nice. The culture is nice. You won't find a lot of issues. What you want to do is just take about 2,000. Depending on your plane ticket. My ticket I got under $1,000. Part of that was this. It was 300 to New York. It was 800 to Egypt. And that was the full trip. So I happened to get lucky. When I got there, like spending and everything, take about $2,000, because you're gonna want to spend. You're gonna see all the books that you can't find here as soon as you go to the museum at the shop. All the books you wanted to get, and you're gonna get them for. You may get all the books you ever wanted for $100. All that stuff you see on Amazon for $700 and all. You're gonna get all the books you ever, coffin text, all of that. You get everything under $100. So make sure you take a little spending money. You're gonna see. Make sure you bring what I suggest, maybe a separate suitcase that you can mail back by itself, because you can only carry so much luggage on a plane nowadays. What else? It's hot. It's hot in the winter, right? So make sure you dress accordingly. Those are some of the main things. And probably if you do a tour and you spend $1,000 or $2,000, just make sure that it's because to get to certain sites, you have to take a plane or you have to take a boat, right? And the boat will only take you so far. You got to take a plane to another site. So you're taking planes and things of that nature in country because it's big. It's very big. Most people see the Nile. You hear Nile River, you think like you could see across the other side, and you can't. No, it's not like the Nile River is huge. So make sure you get some, bring some extra money to do some of the extra things. You could spend one whole day in one museum alone. And I have video as they're building the second museum before it's even built. So very important.
No doubt. Well, I would digress for a minute, man. Any of the brothers, man, y'all got anything, man? For Brother Asar? Brother Sutekh?
Sutekh eating a sandwich in the background. My man Sutekh.
Hey, y'all know I'm trying to eat.
I just felt it. I knew
it. Yeah. Nah, man, I was just on here before you hopped on earlier, man. I was just on here sharing with them, man. Share with the people about Google Hangouts, man, because like people think they be online for a couple hours now. Man, we used to be online 24/7 all day long. Tell them, Asar, it'll be a hangout 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. It don't matter, man. Tell them about the hangout days.
Man, in the hangout on certain day, it would be me, Sutekh, and Wujao, and we might is we might run up on a couple of Hebrews for the day. We might me and Kansu used to be on here heavy too. We might sit down and build for a couple hours. We might one time it was me, you, and the brother Jonathan Owens. As a matter of fact, I think and Kofi and a couple of sessions, we on here talking about music. It was on me, Kalam, been on Hangouts. And let me tell you something about the Hangouts. Like a lot of these guys who you see end up on Sonetter or over here or over there or certain shows. a lot of these guys are from the hangouts, and
Facts.
they tried to, we meet because they want to debate information generally in the hangout days. So me and Sutekh, we'll listen to some dudes and then they'll want to debate and we'll get on a line and you bring your information and then we bring our information and, you go tell your story after that. You go.
Right, man. Those some epic times, man. I don't watch folks get slaughtered, man. And
You take that L and you be quiet. As long as you don't talk, I won't bring it up.
right, man. So yeah, man. I've been knowing the brother Asar a long time, man. We done spent hundreds of hours on here, man, just chit-chatting, talking about whatever, man, whether it had to do with the Bible, whether it had to do with real life. A lot of folks don't know, man, you got a rap history. So tell them about that, man.
Oh yeah, hip hop history. That's what I came in the game doing, right? So I'm in there's a battle with Freshco and Miz in 89. I come in 91. So I'm in the battle in 91. I think Roxanne Shante gets Busy B right the year before or something like that. I come in 91. And then I come back in 93. In 91, I battle, and then me and Mad Skills and Supernatural connect. And at this time, I exit the battle early, first round. Dr. Dre and them, we chopped up, but I go back to Colorado. My man Big John, who runs music right now, he does the publishing for Jay-Z, AZ, Beyonce, you name them. He do the Drake, etc. So John is like, I'm about to do my thing. I said, do your thing, let me know, and I come back 93. And I end up in the semifinals. I get rid of most of the rappers. I beat Mos Def in the first round. Me and Mos Def battle in the first round. And so if you go on Shaquan Lewis, SHAQUAN or QWAN, Shaquan Lewis, that's Mad Skill's real name. You can go to his YouTube page. You'll see him battling Super Nat. And then you'll see Mos Def battling in the first round. He won't show my part of the battle because Mos Def doesn't make it out of the first round. It's just me. So we did that. Me and my partner Loon from Bad Boy, and my partner Nitty, who you see with Rick Ross and Meek Mills. They call him Dark Skin Jermaine. I'm using them to spar with as I get ready. And that means when I say spar, one time we walked into the Polo Grounds in New York, we're in Harlem, where the battle takes place at the New Music Seminar. And we had the battle to get outside, because if you lost the battle in those days, you get beat up or robbed, right? So you have to battle to the point where their partners is like, yo, you didn't win. You didn't win. And so that's what I did. We go pick up Loon. Loon is in a battle. Some dude jumps in. I'm battling the other dude. And we go in so bad that the other dude's crew's like, yo, y'all too nice. Y'all the whole hallway. When you say a rhyme and the whole hallway be like, oh,
right.
Yeah. Some of those battles. And me, my partner, the Stone Brothers, Joel and Jeff Stone, we went to the battle the first year, second year. I went to the semis and I had a record deal. Loon gets his record deal off of mine. Then I start writing for Lady Luck. She wins a battle championship. They were hosting on the radio for me writing her rhymes. She gets her record deal. And then, man, we just a whole slew of game from that. We helped cultivate the music out here. We threw most of the parties to the clubs here in Colorado and built that scene up. So we, DJs like DJ K-Tone, if y'all hear about him, DJ Chones, my partner Kingdom. These are people, Francois. These are people who learn the game from us, and as we push them out there, they take the reins and do their own thing, But the same way Big John taught us, I used to sit with Big John, Kango Kid from UTFO, Mixmaster Ice. Spinderella came by the house. This is when Salt and Pepper and them is big and all that. UTFO is big, and they give us game, and then we turn around, help build the industry out here, and then give the game back to the youth out here, you know.
Yeah,
MC,
man. That's what's up. So so I definitely want to touch on your MMA stuff, because I know we briefly glazed over it later when we was talking about the car accident, but what got you into that?
you know, and most of you, and I spoke on this before, Black children, you have to go through a ritual, and it has to stop at some point in time. That was one of my themes a year or so ago. You can't have your children fighting other children and not check your child in. You know, that's a ritual that you run into in the Black neighborhood, where a kid gets jumped. A kid has to worry about going home with books because, you know, he's pushed by the pushers and the drug dealers, or just somebody who's a bully. You know, you cannot have that in the Black community and expect success. These are things we have to check in as parents. But that would happen to me a lot of times, until my mom, somebody had stole my Schwinn, painted the Schwinn. After he painted the Schwinn, he came by riding it, and I threw a rock at it, you know, stuff like that. Like, yo, what you doing on my bike, yo? He like, nah, this one mine, little dude. And I knew I wouldn't have won a fight, but I had to step to him. And that's a ritual that has to stop. But it goes from so many street. I probably had maybe 100 street fights. Anybody who grew up in Garden Court, I'm probably your favorite fighter just from Garden Court alone. And I didn't win all of them, but I won most of them. From that, I get older, and from that, I go to George Washington High School, and I get expelled for fighting. But I meet a partner of mine named Tommy Johnson. Tommy is fighting bare knuckle for championships. This is before UFC came here, and he's the 3-time champion. So me and him start to train. Me and him are learning Wing Chun. We meet Dan Inosanto, Richard Bustamante, through a gentleman named Clarence Thatch, who teaches us more. You know, so this is Bruce Lee's best friend. Dan Inosanto is the guy with I think he's in Yellow and Enter the Dragon, or Game of Death, I think it is. He's got the nunchucks. And you know, Richard Bustillo, Paul Vunak, you know, we're training with these guys. These are Bruce Lee's friends, right? So, and we're still good with them. And then Horian Gracie comes down, I think it's 93. And Horian, I'm still friends with Horian, and let him out of prison, please. The Gracie family, Hoist Gracie is a good friend of mine, right? So they come down 93 and they challenge us to fight. So they ask me and Tommy, and we're like, yeah, we'll fight. And then they start telling us the weights. And we're like, so who we fighting? That's our weight. They're like, there is no weight limit, brother. Okay. He's like, nah, we not.
What?
And Ken Shamrock comes to the gym. What up, Ken? I know you ain't gonna watch this, but what up, Ken?
Right. Ken ain't gonna see
Ken is probably not gonna see this, but you know, I run into Ken sometimes in Vegas. But him, Tulatelli, which is Ray Cefo's cousin, you know, they all come to our gym, and our partner Pat Smith, who passes away, that's Lumumba's uncle, rest your soul, boy. Pat fights. So in the very first UFC, you might catch glimpses of me and Tommy close to the upper deck area. The famous picture where you see Helio Gracie like this. Yeah, I took that picture with Tommy, and I cut Tommy out of every picture. Tommy standing with Kathy Long, Bill Superfoot Wallace, Jim Brown, and all the Gracies. And I cut him out of almost every picture. I just wasn't that good with the camera. But because you get those pictures, you get that famous picture of Helio. And after that, we were full blown after that. We started the competitions went from Sabaki and Kyuktuki, which we would fight on that platform that you see in the Kumite. My partners would get kicked off of there, you know, partners like Keith Smelter, etc. They would fight, and you would get kicked off into the audience. You might knock a beer or popcorn over and be like, "Oh, get back in there, buddy. Go ahead."
Right.
So these dudes is fighting like that. I'm fighting in gym like they would challenge your dojo where you train your gym. People will come with their gym, come challenge your gym unannounced, and we got these fighters. We got these fighters. Who do you have? If you don't have somebody, we're gonna run your gym. We're gonna run you. So they would come to your gym like that. And Tommy would have me. I fought like 3 dudes at Tommy's gym, and then I fought a lot of people, but I fought a lot at Clarence's gym. I had to defend his gym against my partner Leo Pavlushkin. Leo modernized the medical marijuana security. So you probably seen him on CNN during the discussion about the security for medical marijuana distribution buildings. Me and him fought. He's 6'7", 280. He's 300 something now. But when we fought, he was 270. He was cut up, and I was 155. And so I had knocked him out. So they didn't get to run our gym. But meeting him and fighting with no weight level, stuff like that, it just it became a big deal. I used to have a gym, Tricidia, I believe. We had a few different gyms. Me and Bobby Lashley ran a gym. You see him in the WWE. We opened the American Top Team here. From there, I produced fighters like Jose Arellano, Jorge and Tony Dominguez, all local MMA champs and some national. Jose is from Juarez, Mexico. So I had to get him he was part of Chepo's gang. I had to kind of go do a discussion with them to get him. And he's now legal here. He's 12-0 in pro boxing. He was just boxing with Shakur Stevenson. They did some rounds. He actually put hands on Shakur.
He up in Colorado, right? Ain't Shakur Stevenson? He
training with us out here. I see him occasionally. Right. I see Terrence Crawford occasionally. Yeah,
yeah.
Man, I'm about to get out there with y'all, man.
We seen Adrian Broner like to party with my cousin Chaka. I said that's why you losing, boy. You in the damn club all the time. But
right. But,
that's what it is.
Yeah, so I wanted to touch on those 2 things. I guess we can do the rapid fire segment. So we got a rapid fire segment. I ain't been able to do it these.
I had a question for that, but go ahead. I did have a question.
T'Challa, come on with it.
Yeah, come on,
T'Challa, come on, baby. Sutekh, come on.
Of course we can talk combat all night, but I kind of want to shift back a little bit to the session, Kemet, just to ask, what is your motivation what was your motivation to get when you said earlier in the show that you advise people to at least deal with the language, of course with the vowel situation. We understand that was with Hebrew and Arabic and so many other languages as well. It's no excuse not to understand. We know we can understand what our ancestors was and are still saying to us, because writing is eternal. And so my question, to make it simple, is one, what made you see the importance in understanding our conglomerate of African languages that we call the Medew Netcher?
Absolutely. The main thing was because so many people tried to take us away from greatness, and where you see the spark, the shining star in ancient Africa is ancient Egypt, where we're standalone. We're a conglomerate of nations or a conglomerate of cultures amalgamated together and bubbling at one point.
Hey, and that's important what you just said, because people think that the Remich was just one group of people. They were not. They was a conglomerate of different ethnic groups. I just want to throw that in there, man, because a lot of people think that they are, especially pseudos with one group of people.
Absolutely. And anybody thinking that they're one culture, you're silly, right? What's always and I teach everywhere from African people to European people, right? I got European students as well. The thing is this: you can find everyone in ancient Kemet at some point in time, but it starts with us, and its greatness is us. Now, as you get to the Ptolemaic era, that's when you see Europeans. As you get to other eras, you will see Arabs come into play. Persian era, right? Cambyses, etc. So you're going to have that African Arab mix. If you see the Ptolemies and you see their hair, you're going to see the African Greek mix. You're not going to, and when you see the ancient Remech, you're going to have the bodies in Tanis, which are the Khoisan, or the Khoi as I call them, right? Not, we leave the San out. If you look at some of the earlier Remech, you're going to see a Maasai Somali mix, which goes back to the Maasai Somali War and the Maasai Somali congregation of people. You can go back and see the Kalenjin. You know, when you look at the Maasai, what's incredible, you still have the Ilisar clan amongst the Maasai people, right? So you what are you going to say? They weren't there? You're going to tell me they just came and they got a SAR in the name? You know what I'm saying? So there's things of that nature. But the importance of getting with that spirituality is this. With any African spiritual based system, you can see yourself as God. When you come over here, you guys are a little bit removed from what I had to deal with because you're not as old as me. In our time, when we see the Malcolm X movie and the teacher tells him, I know you want to be a doctor, but you'd make a great janitor. Those are real conversations that we had, right? With teachers, right? I can tell you Miss Carter told me that exact same thing. I can tell you Miss Palzer said something pretty similar to that to me as well. You know, I can tell you that at South Middle School, they had a conference about the influence that I had on the other children. And my mother would tell you the same thing because she came up to the school mad. They had a conference about the influence that I had on the other children concerning their spirituality because they weren't as Christian anymore. And when you cannot see yourself as God, or when they start to paint the picture with words like blackmail instead of using the term framed as they used to use, or when they start to paint the picture that black is evil and they denigrate you in every Abrahamic faith, from Islam, the black dog is evil, it's a jinn. You want to see a picture of Satan? Look at Abu Nabtar and he looks like Satan. Stuff like that. That's not a home for you. You may have grown up with it. It feels comfortable. But number one, African systems are closer to how the universe works. So you don't have to over-explain you don't have to run from things like evolution. Abrahamic faiths have problems with natural science in a lot of instances. But if you're Dogon, if you're Akan, if you're Ifa, if you're etc., you don't really have that issue with natural nature being explained in your mythos. And you can see yourself as God. And that's the original. And so if you see some of the debates why I'm a warrior scholar, let me give my definition while we're on the show real quick. A warrior is someone who embodies the ideas of their people and stands their ground offensively and defensively to bring those ideas into the universe. A scholar is someone who has expertise on the ideas of the subjects that they feel are compelling and wholehearted to them or to their people. Our people are all people at the end of the day. But let's not act like racism is not alive. Let's not act like we don't have a job to reteach African Black people in America what it means to simply just exist as a black person and where your original nature comes from. And when we do these things, then greatness, inspires you to go on. And this is why I teach what I teach. This is why I'm compelled to it. This is what makes me flow with spiritual systems from Africa, in particular, Shamsu Heru, Shamsu Asar. Trying to get this light out for you. This light behind me. I'm in my room. I go downstairs. There we go.
I had one more quick question. This is a rhetorical, redundant question based off of some information we were refuting yesterday, and then I'll mute the mic and Sutekh can go on and rock out. As an individual, because I'm looking at your face, because I'm already knowing that you're gonna look at me like what, but I know you understand why I'm about to ask what I'm asking. Enough pontificating. Here we go. So, as one who's been teaching, you know what I'm saying, I have high respect for yourself, for my brothers on the panel, for all their lanes, especially dealing with Kemet in the glyphs and or the Seshew, I should say. Let me get out the Greek. So if you're gonna teach anything about a culture, if you're gonna teach a culture, if you're teaching about a particular culture, if someone asks you, do you teach about this culture? Your ability to be efficient at teaching that culture is gonna greatly improve knowing the language, because you already said this earlier about knowing the specific dialects of different Arabics that are going to be spoken around the world, right? So if you don't know the language, should you be teaching the culture, brother? If you can't read the language, should you be? If I can't read and speak Spanish, should I be teaching Spanish? How can I teach Spanish?
You can't teach Spanish, but that difference that differs from culture. But what you say rings pretty heavy, because if you can understand the language, we don't have to guess what they're saying. The reason why that's not the only reason, though, is because there are cultural things that you can find other than language, and there are other fields of study for studying cultures that don't just harp on the language, such as pottery, how we know certain time frames of when things happen from certain potteries, from migration patterns. From there's like about, I think there's 3 to 5 different methods that you can use to study an ancient culture and find out how they thought, what they were doing, and why they did certain things. Language is one of the biggest ones, one of the most important, maybe the most important, but it's definitely one of the biggest ones. But there are other methods, so I don't say that's the only way. But to your point, if you claim to be a priest of a certain culture and society and ilk, it's not a shot at you, Jabari. I'm just stating this. Or anybody who doesn't know, right? The brother y'all was talking about the other day, I think any went in on him the other day or something like that on Lions Den. If you claim to be a priest and you don't have a grasp of some of the basics of the language, doesn't mean you have to speak it fluidly, because not all the priests in ancient Kemet spoke it fluidly. Facts. But if you don't have a base, how are you a priest when what you do as a priest is convey the divine words to us so we know what they're saying? Right? So that means all you do is rely on secondhand information to understand the culture you claim to adhere to. At some point in time, put your foot down and go study the language, because you can't come to me with no language. And if anybody disagrees, we can sit down and talk about it, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up some pictures and I'm going to describe what's happening in the pictures, and you're going to try to explain it away. And if you can't read what's being said, there's no way you're going to be able to explain it away. We had this issue with the autofellatio supposedly, right? And what started it is this. Shout out to our big brother Infudisi. He said, no, see, Seb is because he was talking and he just got hyped. Because Infudisi can read Medew Netcher. But he said Seb is sucking the energy, but sometimes you start talking and you get a little hype. In the picture, I think it's the Henu Tawi Stella, whatever. In the picture, Seb Tef, he spits the children out. And if you spit on your phallus, or if you get something wet to deal with a female element, you know what that's about. But we don't suck anything. And it didn't say he sucked anything. And so in that particular picture, it's difficult for you to explain something away if you can't read the language. If I put that picture up and we just talk about that picture all day, and you see Seb rolling back and the penis is not even in his mouth, he's just spitting, you can't really explain. And then you see Asar, one of his children, coming over him because he spit him out. Before, in the picture right before him, you see him and his wife. You see Geb or Seb and Newt above him pulling away. And as he pulls away, he rolls out, and Asar becomes the spirit of the earth, and Seb steps away. And then in the other picture, you see a picture of Shu after he did battle. If you know anything about the mythos, you can look at the picture and you know exactly what's happening at that time. But if you don't know the language, how are you going to explain that?
Yeah, that makes me think of, talking about that boy, that girl is the spitting image of you. You see. So I mean, it kind of made me think about that when you were describing that. But yeah, we done deal with that with one of those crazy claims from the Hebrews, to be exact.
Yeah.
But,
I asked that question in that way, brother, and thank you for the answer, because of course the language is not the only way. I asked that to say not language as in the way that Western 21st century mind is going to think language. Just that is also communication is it's a deep thing. Like, you could scratch your mustache when I walk in a room a certain way, and me and you could be, you know what I'm saying? We ready to go. Right.
What does that mean in Italy, right? What is that in Italy?
Man, yeah, exactly.
Was there something in your mouth, or was you disrespecting me in Italy, right? So you
right.
American thing. But something wrong with your nose, or you want to fight?
right.
Or you want some powder? What's going on with you? You know, you're right.
But good old Becky, huh? You know. But I real quick, I say that, as a musician, as a fighter myself, a musician, I write about this in volume 3. My chapter is Musical Combat, the best of both worlds, and how I've created my own style throughout my life, playing music. Because with hand, it's all about that hand speed. It kills, bro. Like you could be so strong, like you say, you 155 cut, and you knocking out a guy who's 200 something pounds. That's very doable if you're about this life. That's very doable, right? I mean, you could knock out any Homo sapien as a Homo sapien because you're a man with 2 hands. Let's get that established. But I say, back to my point, if you want to come learn djembe in West Africa, and you say Eric or T'Challa, I gave you my government name because I'm real serious right now with my point. If you say Eric, I really want to learn about this djembe, but how do you even know it's djembe? See, it starts with some elements of the language. It's not that you're not gonna know everything, but you gotta have some elements of the language and to know before you could even teach about a culture. How do you know what pot you're looking at? Who told you that was the name of that pot? And it can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are the inscriptions? You gotta deal with language no matter what, bro. At the end of the day, at some point, You know what I'm saying? To what you said, you have to deal with that, because if somebody asks you if you can read read the Netcher, which we know what kind of statement that is really asking if you can read the Sesh. But for the sake of the conversation, can you read Meta? Yes, and I teach it. But then when somebody asks you to read, you come back with it's not a, those aren't it's not a letter, it's not an alphabet.
You're right.
Right, and the sky's blue and the grass is green. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. I didn't ask you that. I asked you to read it. Whatever it is, read it. Oh, it's a symbol. The letter A is a symbol, bro. Come on, man.
Right.
Like, what I put on is a symbol. That around your neck is a symbol. Come on. Like, I feel like people miss the point in conversations when they try to get too smart. It reminds me of some of like what went on last night in the ring, where you forget everything that you were taught. You forget all your training, all of those hours of the 5 a.m. morning runs, the you know what I'm saying, the 9 a.m. hand wrap sessions before the 10 a.m. sparring sessions. Like you forget all of that, and you get in the ring and you just running head first, and you get the same thing. You get on here with, be it a Teppenra, a Kofi, Sutekh, anybody in the chat that's proficient, and you want to argue about what the ancestors were saying or not saying. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not to put anybody on a pedestal, but I have high respect for the individuals that I know, that I can bear witness to, that put in the work, because again, I'm a musician and I am a fighter myself. So I recognize, and it shows. Like, it's not just, I just agree with the brother because he, no. I've observed. I've been on bills with you myself. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't known as T'Challa then. I was known as Jehudi Bakma'at. And I chose that name for myself because I feel that I embody that. That's who I have on my arm, Jehudi. And above him, I have the Eye of Ra. You see what I'm saying? So I embody that. And I feel that I am a servant of Ma'at. I serve to bring balance and order to the universe. You know what I'm saying? Perfectly balanced in my mental state.
Sound like a Jedi to me.
Young Eerie, yeah, absolutely.
That's just where I am with it. Like, you got it. Language. It's all in what I'm saying and what I'm not saying. It's the music that I'm playing, and then the space of music that my instrument doesn't play, being my tongue.
Right.
And so with that said, I'll go ahead and yield the mic.
Well, you're right. If the main thing I would urge, because in African spirituality, the community names you, right? Generally they name you after a day of the week and what that day of the week means and a part of the month that you're born in, etc. But if you go to there are several traditions for naming in Africa. The Demotic Magical Papyrus in particular, that's what they call it anyway. That is where you find the naming systems for ancient Kemet. And there's the bowl of water. There's you can do divination by sun. You can do divination by lamp. You can do it by light. You can also do it by animal sacrifice, right? So all of that is on that papyrus. You can name yourself when you do a particular ritual on there. I don't generally even tell people that because they're like, you didn't get it from so-and-so. But no, if you did your homework and knew, you would know that this is another method. So when it comes to what we feel inside in our soul, yeah, your soul should move you. The hymn and Kemet is follow your heart. So as your heart speaks, you will do what your heart conveys. And as you do what your heart conveys, that's let as Netcher moves you, you will move. Simple as that. So absolutely, that's very important. Language connects us all, and knowing the right language, especially knowing an African language, if you are African and disconnected in America, like a lot of us were, this is the way home. So pick up an African language. A lot of people, if you've seen me on a panel, or if you've been in if you've been in the hangouts with me and Sutekh and Ra, some of these supposed scholars nowadays, that are, you know, everybody's holding dear to heart and stuff. You know, you done seen me run through them before. But as they were there, they started to learn things because they might be on a conference call with me and hear me speaking Wolof to one of my brothers in Africa. Or they might have heard me speak Arabic to one of the Muslim brothers in Africa. Or you might have heard me speak Hindu to my ex-wife at the time, you know. And that was often, you know, moments often that, you know, I don't usually let out. I'll be like, Namuskar, Tumikimunacha. And then I'm over here talking to, you know. So language is very important. You're correct.
Yeah. Brother Sutekh, you got anything, man? We kind of running out of time, and I'm gonna ask maybe one or two more questions, and then we'll end the show. But we at the 1:30 mark.
Yeah, man. Speaking on a area, not the same exact issue, but an area that T'Challa was in. He had a stream last night about a particular debate about if the Netcher rule are literal or mythology. So I just want to ask, what's your take on that? And, are they real or not real, but are they literal or mythological? And how would you go about in substantiating how you feel about it?
There's actually some of both, and so the reason why they're real. Well, let's touch the mythos first. First, the mythos goes. There's about 6 ancient creation stories in ancient Kemet. Ptah particularly starts it out on the Shabaka stone. As you keep going, Amun becomes the progenitor, and when you go real early in Khnum, you find Keku, Kekuet, Ker, Kerhet, Huet, you know, etc., etc. You see the 8, as Khnum means the town of the 8, right? And Jehudi is the mouthpiece for them. So when you talk about the Netcher, their spirit, their aspects of nature. I explained this on the old podcast, Kemet Empire. The Netcher are the celestial bodies and the aspects of nature that are around you. Because who are you? You're an Asar. And while you're living, who are you? You're Heru. And if you're a king in particular, you really are Heru. You embody being Heru, right? If you're a female, you're what? Right? You're Aset in nature. And that's how they see it. That's how they tell you. I can pull up texts that tell you that from the coffin text. Like the heaven, for instance, or the pet, if you will, is in the coffin text from chapter 472 to 782. That describes the pet or the Amduat, and it tells you the particular constellations where that part of the Amduat are found, right? So we know that the Netcheru are aspects of nature. How we know they're people is because the survey that's done initially, and most people don't have this book. I happen to have the 3 from the digest when they were doing it. There's a Heru people that they found. There's an Asarian people that they found. There's a Setian people that they found. They find bodies. They find the war between the Set and the Asar people over cannibalism in particular. And the Set clan was beating the Asar clan up. The Heru clan steps in and assists the Asarian clan, and they start to extradite the Set clan out or subdue them, but not eradicate them. But they subdued them. So there are bodies for this particular war. Whether there are generals named after these people, as E.A. Wallace Budge, Bruggish, James Breasted, and I think Maspero also pointed out, they did find a head that was in a house that was covered with the inscription of him supposedly being a Sar, and the head was buried, etc. in the ancient African tradition, and incense was around the head to keep the head smelling good. Whether that was a Sar or not, I don't know. But the armies themselves existed in that fashion at some point in time in ancient Kemet. I have the You know, I got the survey and all that stuff. So those are the people that represented those particular sects until the idea of what we call Netcher and what most people call God came together, and they started to embody those ideas around each celestial body in nature. That would be my answer to that. And then if I was to debate it, I would go pull that book out and we would say, look, right here, right here, right here, right here. Now let's go to the history right here, right here, right here. And so this history reflects what happened here in this war. What happened in these particular wars reflects the mythos, and that's how we know what we know.
So you mean basically like you were referring to, for lack of a better term, the cults, quote unquote.
We call them cults, yeah. No different than Christianity, or they're cults. They're collective people getting together with an idea and moving in a certain route. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
So if the book, see, the book is on this drive right here. But there's 1,071 books on that drive. Or is it, hold up, it's on that one, or it's on this drive right here. Pardon me. There's 1,071 books on this drive. So if I put it in, the likelihood that I'll find it really fast, slim to none. Yeah, I'm not. It's 1,108. Pardon me. Let me see if I can. No, I would have to dig it up, but I would dig it up for the battle, and then we would pull it out, and then we would get busy. But I can tell you, just based off of like a lot of people, like our brother Jabari, for instance, Jabari said that it's just mythos. The other brother who was on there that Sutekh and Ra was going, or that any Herit was going at, he was pulling it from a particular, I think the Turin Papyrus in London, but he didn't have any of the evidence to back it up. So then both of them are just talking with no real evidence. But if I go get the evidence of the wars and we pull where the sources are from and the bodies that they found, now we have a primary resource. Now we can talk. But the people you debate are not going to have that information anyway. I can tell you right now.
That's a fact.
None of them have it. So if you stand on the fact that they're acts of nature, you're correct. If someone says they're for real, you say find the body. And I can tell you from their information, they don't have the information. They don't have it. I could pull it out, but they don't have it. I've seen where these guys' sources are coming from. They don't know what they're talking about. They ain't even looking in the right place. They ain't even going to the church people who sent the Egyptologists over in the first place to go find out what they were looking for, to find the information. So I can tell you right now, they're not looking in the right place.
Yeah. You got something else, Sutekh?
Nah, that's it, man. Y'all asked all the questions I had and plenty more. So yeah.
Sutekh been rocking with us for a long time, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, we normally try to keep the show about an hour and a half. I got some more questions, but I'm not gonna dig into it. But you mentioned Kemet Empire. Okay, on this website that you had, I've been on there a few times in the past. This is when you was popping real hard. You wrote articles and stuff on that website too, didn't you? And now that I believe you had a book. Your book was actually on Kemet Empire as well. What's the name of the book?
I wrote 3 books. The book I had on there was The Virtues of Ma'at. And I wrote it. It was a quick crash course on Ma'at, which taught you about the particular Netcher. It taught you the primary resources to find the Netcher's inception on, and it taught you the cities that dealt with Ma'at, and it taught you what Ma'at was, and it taught you about the halls of Ma'at.
Right.
And I gave that for free.
Right. I remember that. I remember that. And also, okay, but you said you don't own that you don't own that website domain anymore, right? You said you gave it to
I gave it to Phil Valentine and Miss Nalina, his wife, because he asked. He had emailed me, so I was like, "Go ahead, family, you know," because I changed the website to praisethedivine.org.
Right.
Now let's go there because I'm about to go all the way in, and I don't even know if my site is up right now. I'm about to call them at Weebly while they tripping. Let me see real quick. Praisethedivine.org. See, right now they got my site down. I'm about to call them and curse them out today.
Okay, so what was the name of that book that you had on at that time? Get the name out one more time.
The Virtues of Ma'at. You can still get it. In fact, I have another free class that's on Google Classroom. It's called the Heck in the Chair Spirituality System. If you go on there, the Virtues of Ma'at class is in the 8 lessons that I give you concerning praising the divine. So you'll find it in there. You'll find a book of Coming Forth by Day. You'll find Dixon's Dictionary. You'll find lessons on Natron, lessons on the Netcher rule, how to build your Kara, all types of stuff like that. So it's like 8 lessons I drop. And they're the basics just to start you on the travel. Then the Temple of Ba'u Ra, which is separate from the Heck in the Chair room. We cover the prayer. We cover we start to get in depth, right? So we start to, because most people, all they know is Diatep, Nesu, Netcher, that's all they know. But they don't know you have to, do the Setet Teka, right? You don't know the Sejet, Weben Sejet, lighting the lamp. They don't know how to open the door properly to their to where the Netcher are kept. You don't know Nekeb Keb Kwan Witesh is bolt slid back, or Senet Keb Keb Nik Zu Weru, you don't know the great bolts are made drawn for you. You don't know Winnie Nik Zem Zeri Kasef with, you don't know none of that. Keeping out the Feneku, the Funaku, if you will, keeping out the Libyan, the Chenu, open when next ZM Zarwi Kasafu Chenu. They don't know that. They just know DF, that's it. They just know Dihatep Nasu, and they know just enough of that because they watch you guys on the Seshew Ma'ani Medew Netcher channel, which is good, but that's all they know, and then they don't even know all of that. So, if you're gonna get endowed, come get endowed. If you're playing with it, keep you'll do you'll comment on Sonetta here and there, but you won't be able to answer real questions,
Right. And listen here, let's talk about this real quick, man. You also have this right here, this comic book. What is it?
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline Lane. Okay, and I see real quick right here. Let me take this off of me. I see it's scripted by you, Adrian Jones, and then you got who did the artwork. The editor, it was edited in chief by you and Samuel Matigo Jr. Creator by yourself, Adrian Jones. Publisher, Adrian Jones from the Monumental Comic LLC. And it says wrestler turned mixed martial art Ling Xavier is on top of the world when suddenly he starts using a supplement that enhances his body. Realizing the danger that presents to the sporting world, Ling becomes torn between the custom heroes and the pugilistic athlete. This is his story. This is a legend. This is Adrenaline Ling. So this here comic book, you created the character that's in the book. Okay. Can you oh go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I created the whole monumental universe. So Adrenaline, Len Severs, he basically, what Kofi said, he's battling between being a costume hero as he becomes enhanced by using performance enhancing drugs. And he battles between, okay, what do I do now that I'm a steroid guy, basically, or beyond steroid, even something different? Can I even fight in mixed martial arts? And I see the guys who did this, I need to get rid of them. I have a conviction to get rid of the evil that's just betrayed my body and altered my life. So he's the first hero in the book. I kind of based him off of a guy who had a rivalry with me. He's a mix between Matt Hughes and Jens Pulver. You'll see a picture of me and Jens Pulver after we had squashed our beef a long time ago on my Facebook. But that book is him, and it's a South African brother named Callis who does Muay Thai, who assists him. The South African brother will have his shoot off later. But we did a 5-issue limited series of the Adrenaline series. I have the other book. There's an African American dude named Soaring Eagle, who he's basically Border Patrol. He becomes he transforms into a whole nother comic book later, and there's a whole series. There's Bobcat and Silver or Gold Cat or Bobcat Gold and Silver Cougar. That's another one I have pushed out that when they seen the pictures of these heroes, they got real excited about it. So yeah, monumentalcomics.com. Go on there. I should be doing the e-commerce soon. The first issues are $5.99. I only do 1,000 of them, so they'll probably go up in stature. And then of course we have these. If you like it digital, you can either get it through email or you can get one of these right here. You see it's got Monumental Comics on there. This is the flash drive. These have the comic book as well as pictures of the heroes that you can't get. We should be doing some action figures soon, and we should also be doing some apparel stuff soon coming up here with it. So I dabble in a lot of stuff that I created this universe in 93 or 91, and shout out to my cousin Lamar, because we initially used to draw together when we were little kids, and this is what sparked the universe. I finally decided to launch it. My other partner, Ampu, he does. I don't like the story, but if you've seen it, there's a cartoon of little kids that are Asar and Set, etc., etc. That's my partner Ampu from Colorado. That's his comic book. But he calls himself Rob the Idol Crusher or something that's not, Shout out to my brother Ampu, but yeah.
Yeah.
We'll say this. I have a book that's already being finished concerning ancient Kemet that's comic book oriented. So
what's the name of it? If you know, or you want to wait till you actually drop the book before you get its name?
Nah, it's copywritten now, so we good. It's called Uncle Jocelyn. Okay. So I covered the mythos, and I'll shoot it to Netflix once we're finished as well. I'm sure they'll probably want to jump on it. But I covered the mythos of Asar and Set. I covered the mythos of Seb and Newt. I covered the mythos of Ra, and I cover a few other mythos. So the first 5 will be about Asar and Set. Then we start to go back in time. We cover Seb and Newt, Shu and Tef Newt's mythos, and then we go because if you read the mythos, they're very interesting. I don't know if you guys were in the Greek mythology when you were younger, but Egyptian mythology is really compelling as well. So when you look at the battle Shu had to go through,
right,
and before he supposedly killed, or it's just it's always interested me. So
yeah, we We talked about that, man, a few years ago, me and you, man. I think back, might have been in 2008. I can't remember the name of the show because we did like a couple of shows where we build and stuff. But we was talking about those mythos. We was talking about all the cosmologies on that show. So we kind of touched on some of that stuff, man. Y'all can go back in the archives on here and check it out. I mean, so
we did all 6. Or
yeah,
more than 6, but I think we did 6 of them. We just touched. We went into depth on how I think they were talking about which Netcher is, considered to be Netcher, and we got all the way from Khnum to Amun-Ra, which is, like I said, in ancient Kemet, they do what you should do. They respect their ancestors. So the ancestral story that comes before theirs, before they figure out a new way to express their love of nature, they add that story to the continuous story. And so you can see in can't remember the name of the papyrus, but it says that Amun is every Netcheru's image put together. And then it starts to tell you that Amun-Ra is this part, so and so is this part, so and so is this part. And I can't remember the name of the papyrus, but yeah.
Yeah, so they talk about that in the Per Imharu, the Misnomer Book of the Dead. I think I remember reading one of those papyrus that was dealing with that.
Yeah. It's near. I think it's somewhere in here too, like in this particular coffin text.
Yeah, it might have been. It might have been in that one, man. I don't know, because I got a bunch of the Neither World textbook, man. I got a bunch of them. Sutekh got me to buy my first Neither World. Is that the book right there? That was the first one that you was trying to stunt with us on, man, back in the day, Sutekh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. That's that fire.
Yeah. So he stunted. He stunted with it. Stunted on us with it at first, and I think it was another text that he had. Yeah, I got all those. Yeah, I got that one there too.
All the goodies, we keep.
Hey, Asar, I got a question about the comic book, right? Because I didn't know you was doing all that, and I know you. I know you. I didn't know you had your hand in that. So, talk to me a little bit more about that, because we kind of brushed over that, and I actually went to the website, because we fact check around here. We don't just say something and then I'm gonna just go for it. Nah, man, this brother is actually, it says on the website that this brother is the president and the CEO of this what is it, Monumental Comics? And so what, I want to talk a little bit about this, because I'm a fan of comics, I'm a fan of DC Comics, I'm a fan of Marvel Comics. And I actually watched the YouTube video. You had a YouTuber review your book. Yeah, I'm like, wow, man.
My man Blurred Without Fear.
Yeah, man. So you gotta expound a little bit more about that, man. How'd you come up with that concept? What made you want to do that?
I have there's stuff like the very first books I ever bought, comic book. My mother bought me Spider-Man, Solomon Kane, and Dazzler, right? So I got the Solomon Kane really got me, because the story was, the story is good. Even the movie Solomon Kane was real good. And then the Spider-Man ended up becoming my favorite superhero at the time, until I found out about Black Panther. And I think I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. But once I seen that world and I started to see lack of representation for us and the things that I would think of, like if I was a superhero, I'd do this. I said, I have to create a universe where I can see what I want to see. And I may end up writing for one of these companies, because there's certain heroes that I want to do certain stories for that they're not telling in a way that I think can be told. Writing Adrenaline was, no, but I did it in 93. Copy wrote it recently. Copy wrote all my works recently, just down the line. because I've been copywriting rhymes for so long, you would think, but I never did. And once I found an artist, shout out to Wasquito Muliono.
Yeah, man, I see you guys. Mosquito, and he actually has a character, right? He has his own character.
Not in that book, but he has a whole universe as well that I'm about to start writing for. But he's got like it's like an ancient Cambodia type character, and it's almost Conan, like he's getting like his character is holding somebody head up. You seen that sun hit me? He holding the head up. See how the sun popped through? That's it. Give you that feel, like.
Man, look, we may have to. This is what we gonna do, Kofi. We may have to get them on author's perspective. See if we can get Brother Asar and the two people that write for you, or no, that
help me create. I'm the writer, so I'm the author. Like I write.
You're the author, but they're I see one of them is does the sketches, correct?
Wasquito does the art, and I have another artist as well. Sam, he's my editor in chief, so he'll edit whatever I write, because sometimes I prize fight, so sometimes I think it's good. I put a good sentence together and he'll be like, okay, so we needed to clean this up so it sounds like this. I was like, all right, cool. And then and Minda, she does the lettering and some of the graphic artwork in the book. Wasquito doesn't speak English. So I have to communicate to him in Arabic, because Cambodia is kind of a Muslim country as well. And some Cambodian I can speak as well when I remember. And it's hard to remember.
This powerful, man. I want to support this. How do because I'm on here. I say I can buy the book on here, or do you want me to do it?
Don't buy it yet.
Okay.
Wait till next month when I put it up for $5.99, because the first book is $5.99. It's a number one. The preceding books, because all of them are done except for number that Cash App, baby. Kofi said that Cash App, baby. But you can get the physical. The physical comes with is $5.99 plus the shipping cost, which is because I send it priority, so it'll be like $10. But if you just want the digital, the first one is $5.99. You can Cash App Adrian, AUSAR ADR. So let me say that again. It's ADREAN capital AUSAR, Adrian Asar at Cash App. Or you can PayPal me AsarMK at live.com. Or you can PayPal the Monumental Comics at hotmail.com. But wait till next month if you just want to buy it from the site, because I'll set up the e-commerce, and then you'll probably start to see it on your YouTube ads. And you
want me to just shoot your PayPal, and I can get me one?
Yeah, you Cash App me, I'm gonna send it to you.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, I want to support, and I don't know, man. We probably talk offline. I want to see if I can be some type of part of it, man, because I love like I said, man, I got comic books in my room right now, bro. Like I love that. If I could like
right under the couch.
Yeah. Like if I could come up with some type of character, anything that you need, I'll support this, bro.
Yeah, we'll definitely get him on, man. We'll definitely get you and your partners on, man. I'll try to get through that. That's the new one?
Nah, this is Headlopper. This is I keep comics around me. Comics motivated me to fight. Like I would see something that T'Challa would do, or I would see something that the Hulk would do, or Machine Man. Machine Man was one of my favorite heroes before they started pushing Iron Man real heavy, or Spawn. I would see what they would do, or Wolverine. And when I go to the gym, I would say, what if I could run off the wall and do this? And so you had Duke Rufus's student run off the cage after he saw me do it. Yeah, that X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
You all right? So, and that's one of the older
It's still in the plastic, dog.
Yeah, that cap.
I don't play, man.
No.
That's what I'm saying. I support this dog. So
yeah.
If I want to support and I want to be a part of it, man.
Yeah,
Hey, my entry in Killmonger's corner this issue was I'm kind of leaning. I'm starting to step in that lane, brother. So I'm gonna be hitting you up for some. We can do an exchange. I mean, we could do some virtual workouts or something until we link up or something. Cause like man, that's the lane that I'm
in. Your family. So unless I'm busy, like Sutekh in the hangouts, he'll tell you. They'll call me. We'll do a conference call. I'm sparring and explaining Kemet, right? And we literally be getting busy in the gym, and I might knock it, and he nice, you know, he might be the champ and so on, so, but I'm putting hands on him, and then I'm choking him. I'm like, and so this is how the Netcher did so, and this is why we think how we think, and you know, that's just it is what it is. So it if you guys write, because I'm gonna need some ride. I have my buddy Kenny Lanier from the Broncos, son, because I train him. He's gonna start writing for me. You let me know because
man, listen, I'm letting you know now, bro.
We pay. You know?
We got man. Listen, I would love to be a part of that, man. For real.
For real. Yeah, we on that. My Killmongers too was that I'm not even gonna tell you. You got to get it. You got to get it. Because I definitely went in.
Okay. So I'm gonna check for you too. We definitely go check.
Like we could create our own. Well, you already got it. You already got your own universe. I just want to add a character.
You're gonna add to the universe.
I want to add to the universe, man. I want to add to the universe, dog. I need to do that. I got 2-3 characters in mind.
Y'all see Kofi's books right here. Make sure you pick those up. I just wrote the foreword for one of the which book did I write the foreword for? Okay. As I learn, we all learn.
Kofi, your mic muted. Your mic muted, Kofi.
Unmute your mic, Kofi. As I learn, we all learn. I wrote the foreword for that.
Yeah, can y'all hear me? Can y'all?
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, is it back on my the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wrote the forward. It's called Tip. It's pretty good forward too, man. Tip Red, man. It's called Tip Red, man. And he wrote the forward for it, man. I reached out to him. And he was like, I got you. We had a conversation first. You know. And then you know, I asked him, man, to write the forward, man, and he did it and shot it on back to me, man, and no time, man. So I appreciate, like I said, man, he's family over here, man. He's definitely family over here. He's not a guest, and I'm gonna keep stating he's not a guest. This is his home. But as what we got up here, we got, you know, please go and get on the left. This is hot off the presses. This just came out Friday. Spiritual Combat and Historical Survey of the Minds of African Warrior Scholars, Volume 3. So please go and get that piece of work. It's almost 300 pages of straight fire, straight heat. And again, we having a sale on Kofi Piesie TV. That's www.kofipiesie.tv.com. You can get it $5 cheap. It's $24.99 on the website. If you go to Amazon, it's $28.99 plus tax. So you come out cheaper. You'll come out $8, $9, maybe $10 cheaper. Just considering where you're at, you may come out $10 cheaper. So please go on there and support us and get that piece of work. It's a nice piece of work. Also, you know, if you don't have Volume 1, go get Volume 1. Volume 1 is available now on KofiPiesiTV.com as well as Amazon.com, as well as I got to get Mary Pepper's bookstore. Her bookstore is in Texas. It's in a bookstore in Texas, and it's in the Black Dot Cultural Center in Atlanta. That's Unc's store. So we have it in 2 stores. Oh, and it's also in Africa right now at a school. And also from Spirit to Pen, Historical Survey from the Minds of African Warrior Scholars, Volume 2, which is this orange book. It is also available on Kofi Piesie TV, Amazon.com, Black Dot Cultural Center in Atlanta, and it's available in Texas. I got to get the name of the store. I don't want to not say her the name of the store right, get her name mixed up with somebody else's name. But it's also in Africa as well, and be on the lookout. They're working out some things now. So next month, the end of December, the 1st of January, you will start to hear some talks about a nationwide writing essay in Africa. Again, a nation writing essay in Africa on volume 2 from Spirits Depends, and we're going to bring you all the coverage like we did for volume 1. One Night Before Bed is out. Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland. From Cocaine to Consciousness, and As I Learned, We All Learned. Those are all the publications again, and we did all that in a span of 6 to 8 months. We put out 7 publications within 6 to 8 months. If you mix the show I did on Friday talking about this before I led up into our 7th publication, which is Spearitual Combat, go check out that video as well, man. Please support. Also go and support brother Asar MK and get his comic book. Get his comic book again. The name of it is, say the name of it again.
Adrenaline. Monumentalcomics.com. Wait till next month. We should have it up there for $5.99. They're in the stores at All Seas Comics as well. But wait till next month so I can drop it I can put the e-commerce up there. And you can buy it for $5.99. I don't want you to spend $15 the way it is now and not get the proper like you see how Kofi's is the real book. If you spend the $15, it don't come like the real book. It come like a thick with white background, so you don't want that one. So just give me till next month and we'll get it going. Also, you can go by adrianjones.weebly.com and it'll show you some of it's a school project I had to do for school. I'm in school right now, Colorado Media School, as we get ready to do film and a couple other things as well. And you can kind of see my history of sports, MCing, Kemet, etc., etc.
Yeah. How else can they find you, man, if they want to reach and get in contact with them? Give you all your social media handles, give them your website. Just give them all your social media handle, man. If somebody want to reach out to you, man, for in the future for a comic book or your series that you got coming, or just look at some of the work that you got on, or invite you onto their platform, or invite you to guest speak somewhere, just give them all your social media handles and websites and emails and so forth.
Yep, you can go to HKN, new word NTR, on your YouTube. If you put that in, you'll pull me up. Heck in the Chair Spiritual System. You can go to Google Classroom and you can pull up Heck in the Chair Spiritual System in the Google Classroom and it'll pull up. You can also go to www.monumentalcomics.com. You'll pull up the comic series. You'll start to see some of the new stuff that's developing and some of the interviews we did. I just did one. I got to put the other one up. I just did another interview Saturday. And then if you go to or you can email me AUSAREMKA@live.com. And if you email me and put attention Asar in your subject, then I know what's going on and I can get with you. Shout out to my brother Patasa Asar. Shout out to the Seshew Ma'ani Medew Netcher. Shout out to all the groups that keep us strong and powerful and keep us on the right path and keep us on the straight and narrow. Shout out to Muhammad Gabber and Muhammad Ithier for Egypt. You want to go to Egypt, holler at Muhammad Gabber and Muhammad Ithier. Especially if you're Moor, because Muhammad Ithier he got the Moorish trip for you.
We'll send Sutekh on it. Send Sutekh undercover as the Moor.
Ain't no Moors, yo. Muhammad Ithier will have you believing, yo. But absolutely, Sutekh and Sutekh is on the case because they about to debate on the Lions Debate League. Shout out to Lions Debate League because none of y'all wanted to debate me, so I left. Get your heart up. Get your heart up. Get your heart. Come see me on Solar Mind, Solar Division Debate League. And as soon as I graduate in February, we'll start to put more content on the Heck in the Chair page. I don't have the time right now, which is why.
Yeah. And give that your YouTube channel out again, man. I mean, you got and I'm gonna tell you something. What makes me mad at you, and I done said this before, is like you got a lot of good content on your channel, your YouTube channel that deals with Kemet.
I don't promote it.
You just don't promote it, man. You don't promote it, man.
I don't have the chance. You'll see how I promote this book because you'll start to see it just pop up on Google because we're about to do a Google push. We're about to do a YouTube push coming up here. You'll also see a clothing line. One of my partners who just came out of prison, who's now back on the straight and narrow path. You'll see his clothing line. You're gonna see Didi everywhere shortly. But when it comes to like the YouTube page, that was just from the heart. So I put it out there, but I won't start promoting that right now because I got other works that have to be done. You know, I have other works that have to be done before I get to sit down and do what I want to do. You know.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, we definitely appreciate, man, you having your own, man. Like I said, this is your home, man. You're welcome back at any time, man, to build with us, man, to get involved into some of the stuff that we got going on, man.
I had to push Kofi out the nest, y'all. Y'all don't know. It was hard. Remember, Kofi was like, man, I don't know if I tell him. Kofi, mouthpiece now. He got a microphone in your face, man. That was difficult. Kofi
get you, boy. Kofi get you out there.
Yeah. Get out the nest, Kofi. You can fly. You can fly.
Yeah. See, he been, man, like I said, I've been knowing him for 5 years. I got introduced to him by Sutekh, man. So, man, we've been rocking along. We've been rocking, man, for about 5 years. So he been there since the beginning. He been there since the quiet Kofi Piesie and the Seshew Medew Netcher group. Before it was even a Seshew Medew Netcher Warriors on my eye, man. That's my brother, man. And like I said, I'm glad to see him back on Kofi Piesie TV, man. It mean a lot. And also I got on the screen real quick, Mboka. Go get your Mboka wear, Mboka Family Connected Apparel. You can either type in www.dotees.online, or you can either just type in Mboka, go to Google, type in Mboka Family Connected Apparel, and our website will pop up. We have tons of stuff on the online store. I have a few items that I will be dropping on the store maybe tonight or tomorrow. I'm possibly go live probably late tonight and talk about some of the things that I got that we're adding to the store either late tonight or tomorrow. So please go follow us at Mboka_brand on Instagram. Go and like the page, Mboka like page on Facebook. Like I said, go check out the online store. It's a lot of dope stuff on the store, a lot of dope stuff that we adding to the store. Appreciate the people that supported it. We dropped it 11/27/2020, Doff Thing Day. Again, for people that may not know what Doff Thing is, also be on the lookout for Doff Thing. We have Doff Thing shirts, Doff Things hats. That'll be damn, I already gave one of them away. But again, Doff Things just a English and Wolof word combined that means crazy and creative, beautiful and unique. So be on the lookout for those things. I'm gonna keep posting pictures. I'm not a photography, but I got a lot of the brands coming in every week, so you can look at exactly what it looked like before. If you want to wait till I buy it, I got the Mboka. I got one Mboka shirt on my Facebook page and the Instagram page. You want to go check it out. I got the Kofi Piesie Research brand shirt if you want to check it out and see what it looked like. I got the Mossi Warrior Clan t-shirt if you want to check it out and see what it looked like. You can check it out. I got some more shirts coming. I got hats. I got pants is coming, so you can look at the pants and see what it looked like, you know, on you before you purchase it, if not. But like I said, we did some good research on it, so we kind of got some, quality brand when it comes to the shirt, the pants, the polo shirts, the jackets, the caps, everything, man. But again, man, I want to say peace and Black African power. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Go ahead.
Before we end, we gotta make sure we're gonna get Brother Asar back on here. We're gonna do author's perspective, and we're gonna talk about this comic book. But I want to do it around the time when, in a month when it's able to be released in the public, we can do the show and tell them to go on in there and grab it for that price point. So
okay,
we're gonna get you back on here, Brother Asar.
Yeah, so you welcome back to Author's Perspective. Now we want you to come back on Author's Perspective, and I'll chop it up with you and see what'll be a good day for you to do it, because we do it on Sunday. So we'll definitely chop it up with you, man. So chop it back up with you, man, so we can see if we got it going on. And while we talking about Author's Perspective, I got Baba Imhotep, an author from Baltimore, powerful brother. I got hold of him through Dr. Oyama Arts platform. I seen him speaking, man. This brother was powerful, man. So he's an author. So when he was an author, I was like, oh well, I gotta reach out. So I reached out to the brother. I posted 2 of his books. He has 3 publications. I bought 2 of his books. We're gonna be talking about all 3 publications next Sunday. Gonna be talking about the school that he got, that he's trying to build, the work that he's doing, the work that he's doing down there in Baltimore, and everything on Author's Perspective. So be on the lookout for that, for Brother Baba Imhotep, man. And again, man, we appreciate you, man. So we definitely want you to come back next month on Author's Perspective and do your thing on Author's Perspective and talk more about your comic book and this other series as well, man, that you got, because we want to go through the process, because we talk about the process on. So I want you to walk through the process, walk us through the step process, the ins and out on how to create a comic book, the cost and the time, everything. So yeah. So anyway, man, peace and Black African power. I say ETM Hotep, which means I said in the beginning, which means to come in peace. Now I want to say Shemim Hotep. So let's depart in peace. So we'll see y'all next time on Kofi Piesie Research Team. Go get that new book. Go get all the books. Go get all the books. Get all the clothing. Go support my brother comic book. And we out of here, man. We'll see y'all next time, man. Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Peace.